Hello all, Andrea here with I Dream of Crafting. This is going to be another time lapse. My Walmart finally got in canvas. I am so happy. So I am going to be doing a painting kind of to celebrate. So I Google searched a lot of different images today, just random keywords, seeing what popped up. And I came across a whole host of wonderful silhouettes. Different kind of silhouettes of both Marvel and DC superheroes. So I downloaded a whole bunch of them, and you're probably going to see all of them at one point or another. So I got a good base to start with, but they are all wonderful, and it was really hard to choose just one. But this one kind of caught my eye, and I'm very happy with it. So I know it's gonna be hard to see because it is black and white. I try not to do color if I don't have to, because color ink is very expensive. So this is a black and white grayscale printing of a silhouette of Iron Man, as you can see. These little rings here that you see and the rings behind him are the arc reactor. So the picture is originally all black on the in the background. The arc reactor superimposed behind him is red. He is actually black. He's just a silhouette, and then his arc reactor eyes and his repulsor, they glow. So, or in the picture they look like they're glowing. So, I thought that was really cool, and I really wanted to see it, see how it would come out in duct tape. So this is the image I'm going to be using for today's time lapse. It won't be too difficult. It's really just a lot of curves, circles, a lot of circles and kind of rectangles and just kind of like crescents. So it's not too difficult, but you have to get it pretty perfect because silhouettes are tricky like that. If you don't get things perfect, they don't look like what they should. So a lot of lining up today and a lot of precision cutting, so it'll be good. So the supplies you will need for this painting is of course your template, size to whatever you need. I'm going to be doing an 8x10 canvas today, so I printed my picture actually full size because I didn't want the center picture to shrink too much, so I did a full page. You could certainly do an 8x10 though in your settings when you're printing, but I just did a full page. Don't waste your ink, do it in grayscale, and put your printer to fast draft. It'll be well enough for you to see. One more thing, as you can see, I have little markings on some of these. In the picture, there's actually two different kinds of red. Over here where I marked it, it's actually a brighter red because of the glow from his repulsor. So I'm going to try and mimic that with the duct tape that I have chosen. So that is the first supply you will need. The second supply is, of course, an 8x10 canvas or whatever size you wish. If you don't have canvas, you can just cut out poster board that is 8x10. So that is the second one. As you can see, I have already covered my canvas with the black background. This is 5 strips of tape that are 11 inches long, and I have tried to make them as even as possible. I kind of failed, but I do like to wrap mine around so I have that nice edge, so you don't see white canvas on the edge. That is the second supply you will need. You will also need a very sharp X-Acto knife with a new blade if you have one, or most certainly the sharpest blade you have. Of course, you will need a cutting board. You will need however many duct tapes you required for the picture. I have already used the black for the background, so all I need are my 2 reds and my glow-in-the-dark tape. Yep, I'm going to be using it. And you need clear tape to hold down your pattern while cutting. So those are all the supplies, so let's get started. Okie dokie, so we are going to start out with the darker red, which I decided to start out with this because the darker red had more of the arc reactor behind him, so I wanted to get that majority out of the way. And that would set up a nice base for the painting itself. So it's it's kind of simple cutting. When I get further down to the bottom of the picture, it gets a little hard to see the little rectangles there. So I kind of wish I would have done either black and white, or just a really fast draft for color. But live and learn, you know. So I cut out the first 3 because I wanted to not lose track of which rectangle went where, because of course each one's going to be a little bit different, and each one is a little bit different, so you want to put them where they go, you know. So I cut this one out of here, so I'm putting that there, and so I just didn't want to lose track of them. So, and of course I'm using my template there as a little guide as to where I want to put those, so that Iron Man lines up in the center of the painting once I get all these on here. So just using a little more clear tape to hold down that bottom section. And this is about where it started to get really hard to see, because I think these are actually a little bit darker in the actual picture, a little darker red than the top 3 that I just did, so it was really hard to see. I have more silhouettes that are like this, where it's a black background, and then there's what do you call it? There's like symbols around them that frame them to where they, you know, kind of just pop out of the picture. I think in the future when I do those, I will do them in color, just to make it a little bit easier on me. So there's the other 3. I had to do some trimming on that first one there. It's very hard to do a silhouette, especially like this, where it's not a true, well, it is a true silhouette, but the silhouette only exists because of those elements that you're putting on there right now. So the silhouette only exists because the arc reactor in the background is placed in such a way that it frames him. So it's one of the harder silhouettes someone can do, where when you think of a silhouette, you think of a white background and a black silhouette of a person. That's a little bit easier, because at least you're cutting out the actual person. And here you're just cutting out and placing different shapes to make the person. So it's a roundabout way, but it looks very, very cool. So it's a lot of precision cutting, and you got to make sure you put everything, you know, you have to use your template for this when placing it on the canvas. So this was going to be the last of the dark red duct tape. Now the others will be the bright red. And as I stated before, that I'm using 2 different ones because in the picture it's 2 different colors, because the bright red is supposed to be the glow from his his repulsor. So here I'm just cutting out his little repulsor. Circles are always really hard to do, so just try your best, go really slow. Especially when you're using glow in the dark tape, go really slow, because you don't want to mess up, because glow tape is very expensive. But what's good about it is that it's thicker, so that very thin outline around the circle that you just saw me pull up, that actually holds. If that was made out of regular duct tape, it would have broke, but I was able to get it up without breaking. So that's the good thing about glow in the dark tape, is it is thicker, so it will hold up if you have to cut it thin. So, but it is thicker and it's harder to cut through, as you are seeing here. I'm trying to release his eyes from this tape, so I pretty much just had to recut them, because I guess I just didn't push hard enough to get through the tape. But here I am lining all these elements up. You will see me pull up the very thin circle that goes around the repulsor, it's right there. I just very carefully went around it and then positioned it. And I was very happy that when I placed the template back over it to place these last elements here, these last four, or I'm sorry, three, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6, bright red of the arc reactor. I was really happy that I actually lined it up like pretty, it was pretty perfect. So just, these are the 3 last big pieces of the arc reactor, and then I'm going to use that scrap piece of tape to do the 3 little pieces of the arc reactor that form his fingers, that show through for the for the repulsor hand. And once again, these were kind of hard to see. One, because it's in black and white, well, grayscale, I should say, and B, because the clear tape kind of reflects all the light back, so it was hard to see through the tape. But I got it pretty well. So just sticking the last few on here. This was really fun. I love doing silhouettes, and especially kind of, I call them reverse silhouettes, but I don't know, I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but I really do like doing these kinds of silhouettes. Once again, my knife, I mean, your knife is going to get dull, you know, the moment you start using it, so I had to recut some of these, because I just, you know, didn't cut through, but it's no big deal. And there they are, and we're just going to place these 3, and that'll be the end. So this whole thing took me about a half an hour, which is not bad at all. Thank you for watching. Okay everyone, that's the end. As I promised, not too terribly long of a time lapse. Here's our finished product. I love how it turned out. I cannot wait to turn off the lights and see it glow. I will show you that in just a few minutes. But let me back up a little bit here, because I know this area where his hand is might look a little weird up close, but as you go back, it kind of all blends in. That's the magic of a silhouette. I love silhouettes, they're so cool. So, if you like this time lapse, please give it a big thumbs up. Leave your comments, questions, and requests in the comment section below, and I will get to you as soon as I can. And I hope to see you in the next video.